The search is over for a high-ratio shortening substitute. Nowadays, there are many types of shortening, and it consists of any fat. These can be margarine and butter. Besides, it is solid at room temperature. In addition to that, the most popular shortening is vegetable shortening with 100% fat content. In most cases, you use shortening in baked goods such as cookies and cakes. Additionally, you use it to make the flour more crumbly for baking. Because of this, it can be either vegetable oil or animal fat. Essentially, vegetable oils are in liquid form, then hydrogenated to solidify as fat. As a result, it becomes flavorless, and you commonly use it to make the baked products flaky and light. High-ratio shortening substitute. Keep in mind that the hydrogenation process produces saturated fats and trans fatty acids that are not healthy. So with that, please use the closest substitute. Not only that, but also a fundamental understanding of shortening is essential. Unfortunately, though, substitutes may modify the texture and taste of the final product. Moreover, remember that butter has a small amount of water content. In that regard, it is typically about 85% fat and 15% water. As a result, the extra water content in butter may change the flavor, texture, and consistency of baked goods. Again, though, bear in mind that it varies from brand to brand. Furthermore, using butter as a substitute for high-ratio shortening when baking leads to softer cookies. In addition to that, the cookies will spread out more. Besides that, butter has a low melting point. Shortening alternatives. 1. Butter. The best thing about butter is that you can use a similar amount with high-ratio shortening in the recipe. So with that, if you do not have any shortening on hand, it would be best to use butter. Not only that, but also your baked goods will have a rich buttery taste. However, they would not turn out as flaky as opposed to using high-ratio shortening. Additionally, ensure that the butter's taste suits the recipe for biscuits, cakes, and pastries. Keep in mind that health-conscious individuals prefer low-fat versions of these products. Unfortunately, though, low-fat versions of butter may not be as effective as high-ratio shortening. The main reason is that they do not melt easily. 2. Vegan butter. It would help to use vegan butter since there are many of it on the market nowadays. In that regard, feel free to use it when you need an alternative for shortening called for in a recipe. With that, add about 1 to 2 tablespoons per cup of high-ratio shortening. Make sure to do this to achieve an accurate fat-to-water ratio. 3. Coconut oil. Remember that coconut oil is an excellent high-ratio shortening substitute. Besides, it is vegan and has the same texture. Not only that, but also you can swap it in 1-for-1. However, keep in mind that it will likely provide your baked goods with a slight coconut taste. 4. Margarine. You can utilize margarine to substitute for high-ratio shortening in baking recipes. If you have some of it on hand, make sure to add an extra tablespoon of margarine. Ensure to do this for each cup of the high-ratio shortenings. Bear in mind that margarine has water. In addition to that, it contains lower fat content. That is why it would help to use a little more margarine that will yield a greater outcome. Furthermore, it would help to add flaxseed powder with margarine. Likewise, use it as a great alternative for high-ratio shortening. So with that, combine about 50% of margarine with approximately 50% of flaxseed powder. After that, add it to the baking batter. In this regard, it is more appropriate for cookies since they become sweeter and denser. 5. Vegetable oil. Vegetable oil is indeed a great shortening replacement, especially if a recipe calls for melted shortening. But do not use vegetable oil as a substitute for shortening in recipes like scones, pie dough, and biscuits. Besides that, you will not get pockets of fat. Because of this, the dough will not puff up correctly. 6. Lard. Lard is ideal for recipes that can go savory, such as pot pie, savory scones, biscuits, and cornbread. Because of that, lard is an excellent substitute for shortening. In addition to that, lard is a non-hydrogenated fat. For this reason, it is delicious and has no artificial additives. Therefore, lard is one of the ideal choices for high-ratio shortening alternatives. If you liked this video, don't forget to like and subscribe.